Karoline Schleh.
And tell me a little bit about your role in New Orleans. What do you do?
My role in New Orleans, I'm an assistant professor here at Loyola, and I teach painting currently. I've taught drawing and printmaking, and I've run the gallery here. But I've worked at Loyola for 17 years, and I'm a practicing artist. I have work locally at Callan Contemporary, and I have work in Baton Rouge with Anne Connolly Fine Art, who I've been with for a very long time. And I am a mother, and I run my letterpress. I also have my little print shop in my home. So.
Would you tell me a little bit about the book that you and your husband made for your daughter?
Yeah, we made this book. It was Cateolé and the Big Hurricane. When we evacuated, we went to St. Louis, because my husband's from St. Louis. And we were not thinking we were going to be obviously there that long. I have to go back in my memory banks. I tend to put things out of my mind. But I was pregnant at the time, and I had a daughter, too, who was very young. And yeah, so we were in this apartment with his sister, and we had also evacuated we worked at a summer camp in the Lake of the Ozarks, and it was a camp that, you'd have a lot of foreign staff come in and be nannies and help, and we had this lovely person that was a nanny for us, and she was from Switzerland, and she wanted just to come to New Orleans after the camp to visit for a while, and we had to evacuate with her back to St. Louis, and she's like, I just left. It was like, all you're gonna see is St. Louis, all you're gonna see is Missouri. But it was getting a little stir crazy because it was a lot of people in a little space, and I had my daughter, and my husband had a master's in education. He was a high school teacher, and he's very creative. He does independent film now. That's another Katrina story. But we decided we always wanted to write a children's book, so we thought this was the perfect opportunity. So he wrote the story, we did a storyboard, and I would just get up every day with my watercolors, and I would make a page from the book. And we thought we'd print it and we'd give it to a lot of our friends. Everyone was spread out all over the country, and we thought it'd be a really nice thing to give our friends that were also in the same position, that had kids and would like to have something to read to them. And the book has, the houses that we were in. It was all, of course, from memory, because I was inside an apartment. It was just more surreal. But these were our little houses, which are down the street. And we had two side by side. We were renovating them at the time. And we had to re-renovate them. But there was the little yellow house and the green house, and everything was there. But then when we got back, it seemed like a lot of people liked the book. And we were working with the Maple Street Bookshop. They were sweet, and Octavia Books. And if you go into Octavia Books, there's still like a little watercolor of mine of Kate like reading a book. And I go in and I look at it, and Sean's like, you should really tell them that's you sometimes. Because it's been so long, I was like, no, I just like to go in and like to see that it's there, and then I like to get out, But the bookshops were, like, that was just part of the whole community. Like the bookstores were into it, and the artists were into it, and the parents were into it. And I said we had a neighbor across the street, and she's taught at St. George, and they were so excited, and we would give them to the kids. We'd print them, and we used to sell them to cover the cost of the printing or give them away. There was never really like it was not a profit maker. And but they made a musical version of it. Like I said, it was really a musical they sang songs about New Orleans. And the kids made costumes of all the characters. There was one Cateolé who was very adorable. He had a blue sweatshirt with a big fleur-de-lis, and he would get up, and all the kids made their costumes. And they took my drawings, which were already kind of kid-like, and they redrew them, and they put them on a big PowerPoint afterward. And we were just like, crying and all in tears. And I was like, would you make another one? And I was like, sure. And then so it was like the next year we made Cateolé and Mardi Gras Day, and then they did it again. And then at that point, it was just, I think they wanted to keep going, but my children were getting to this age where I was like, and we were building a new house, and I think it just sort of fell off a little bit, but it was fun.
What is your perception of the sort of the arts and art scene here before and after Katrina? Did it change?
The most touching thing was like the art community, because you know, we're having dinners and getting together, and it was wonderful. It was just very loving, you know, and everyone was just, and that's why that's why we have the sculpture garden here, you know, because everyone's like, we gotta make everything look good, you know, and it was like, it was just this energy that you had, and like, it was just so wonderful.